school shooter. This is not acceptable. They are spending too much time trying to prove Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. There is no collusion. Get back to basics and make us all proud. It's incredible. Students who survived the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School reacted to that tweet from the president. Morgan Williams, a 16-year-old junior, tweeted, "Oh, my God. 17 of my classmates and friends are gone, and you have the audacity to make this about Russia? Have a damn heart. You can keep all of your fake and meaningless thoughts and prayers." Senior Carly Novell tweeted, "You know what isn't acceptable? Blaming everyone but the shooter and the lack of gun control in our country. You even blame the students. We did report him. We tried. But how were we supposed to know what would happen? Your lack of sympathy proves how pitiful of a person you are." Kira Parrow, a senior, wrote, "My friends were brutally murdered, and you have the nerve to make this about Russia. I cannot believe this." Ali Sheehy, a senior and softball player, wrote, 17 of my classmates are gone. That's 17 futures, 17 children, 17 friends stolen. But you're right. It'll be about you. How silly of me to forget."
And senior Emma Gonzalez had this advice yesterday.
I think the best way to deal with this is to ignore him. He's not being, I think we can all agree that the things that President Trump tweets is nothing really has a lasting impact, unless it's a negative lasting impact on the people around us. At this point especially, the things that he mentions when he brings up talk of the FBI, he's trying to blame somebody, and we can't let him do that. So the best thing for us to do is to ignore him and to continue fighting our fight.
The president's reference to missed signals by the FBI was a reference to this news. The FBI says that on January 5th, a person close to Nicholas Cruz called the agency's tip line to report information about Cruz's gun ownership, desire to kill, erratic behavior, disturbing social media posts, as well as a potential to conduct a school shooting. However, the FBI says established protocols were not followed and that the information never made it to the Miami field office where it could be investigated. The FBI director released a statement saying, quote, "We are still investigating the facts. I'm committed to getting to the bottom of what happened in this particular matter, as well as reviewing our processes for responding to information that we receive from the public." He also said, "We've spoken to the victims and families and deeply regret the additional pain this causes all those affected by the horrific tragedy." Now, the response from Florida Governor Rick Scott was this: "The families will spend a lifetime wondering how this could happen, and an apology will never give them answers they desperately need." He ended the statement saying the FBI director needs to resign. How interesting that one of the president's lackeys, a guy who has embarrassed himself repeatedly, defending the indefensible for the president, uses a school shooting in his state to try to get rid of one of the president's, somebody that the president appointed, but one of the people who'd been a target of the president's over the past several weeks, a guy who's spoken truth to power. And it's also just not smart for Rick Scott to do that, because when he did it, I knew this story would be coming up. The FBI wasn't the only agency that allowed Cruz to slip through the cracks. According to the New York Times, Rick Scott's own Florida Social Services Agency made a visit to Cruz's home after being alerted of disturbing social media posts. Citing a state report, the Times says that he was questioned, and then Rick Scott's agency determined that he was at low risk of harming himself or others. So if Rick Scott is going to apply that cynical standard to all public officials, then I guess Rick Scott needs to resign at once. Carol, this is happening with so much going on right now. The president of the White House understands the gun issue is a real problem. They also understand that more school shootings will be coming. It's just, if you look, this is now a national epidemic. So they've got to worry about that. They've got to worry about Mueller, and they have to worry about something else that you've been looking into, and that has to do with security clearances. It appears that John Kelly has angered quite a few people in the West Wing because he's applying a new standard that most likely is going to keep people like Jared Kushner from being able to get the security, get their hands on the security documents that they've had in the past. But it'll apply to a lot of other people.
Yeah, what's not clear about that is whether, John Kelly was in a very tenuous position in terms of his job security. And it's not clear that this new memo, 5-page memo that he released last week to outline new procedures, security clearances, is going to help him or it's going to hurt him, because it puts some folks like Jared Kushner right in as the Washington Post reported, there's a bullseye on him.
I wonder, is this Kelly knowing that he's isolated and he's taking a final shot at Jared Kushner? Because he is so isolated.
He's very isolated in the White House. And I think, well, one of three things is going to happen. By Friday, according to John Kelly's memo, all interim security clearances that were issued on people whose cases started before last summer, which includes Jared Kushner and others,